Welcome to the Jeff Knows Inc. Entrepreneurial Podcast with your host, Jeff Lopes. Jeff has over 2 decades experience as a serial entrepreneur, building brands like Kimura from his home basement to a multi-million-dollar global brand that has sold over 250,000 pairs of boxing gloves. Jeff's here to educate, guide, and drive you on the process of bringing your ideas and dreams to reality with the inspiring stories from some of the top business minds.
Welcome to episode 144 of the Jeff Knows Inc. podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Lopes. Super excited to have on today Zion Clark. Zion is such an inspirational story. The star of the #1 viewed documentary on Netflix, Zion. Great conversation. Sit back and enjoy. We are live on the Jeff Knows Inc. podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Lopes. Super excited to have on Zion Clark. What is up, brother?
Not much, man. Just living a good life every day. Me and my girl, we're in a beautiful place, beautiful area in San Diego.
How long have you lived in San Diego for?
Baby, it's been 4 months.
Oh, so this isn't you. Where you originally?
5 months.
Where were you guys before?
We were living in LA for a little bit. Before that, I was living out in New York with her.
Okay, very, 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 very cool. So for anybody that doesn't obviously know Zion and his story, I mean, Netflix #1 doc for how long now?
It's been one of the best short documentaries in the world for about 3 years in a row now.
Which is crazy. This is crazy. When did that journey start? When did you actually have somebody come up to you and say, "Hey, I want to do this on you"? When did that start?
After I graduated high school, this producer named Floyd Russ, he kept kind of stalking me on Facebook a little bit. I'm thinking like, who's this weird? Who's this weird? And so I was like, "Mom, come look at this. Come look at this, Mom. Who is this man messaging me?" And I was like, he said he wants to do like this documentary and all this stuff. But I've never heard of him before. So my mom went and talked to him, like did a conference call with me, her, and him. And it turned out that he was like a legit producer based out of New York City. And he flew out to Ohio a couple weeks later, and they had this idea and this vision to just like make a short film. We didn't know it was going to be on Netflix or even Sundance at that. Yeah. And for those of you who don't know what Sundance is,
it's huge film fest, massive. It's like
the second biggest film festival on the planet. And my documentary aired there. It was only about 10 minutes, and it stole the show. Got #1 best short documentary short film at Sundance, and then proceeded to get the best short film at almost every single film festival across the planet. And then, about 6-7 months go by, I get a call from this producer. He's like, "Yo, Netflix wants to pick this up." And I was like, I was like, nah. It was just a crazy feeling, man. Cause like we only worked on this for about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
That was the whole filming was that quick?
Yeah, but here's the thing. We'd be like up at 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. filming every single day nonstop.
So you in your head, when you see something like that, you'd think it's months of accumulated filming cut down into the short film. Because usually you see a commercial for 60 seconds, they might go through 3, 4, 5 days to film that commercial. So that's pretty crazy that they did that in such a short period.
Oh yeah. We definitely filmed like the documentary was only 10 minutes, but we filmed like, I don't know, 15 hours of footage.
Yeah.
Crazy. For all the stuff I did, only a minuscule part was put in.
So when you look back and you think of your time when you first, because I'm assuming that was your first time you had a camera in front of you and you had to react and talk in front of a camera. Was that your first time, or you had the other opportunities?
No, actually before that, when I was still in high school, I was being followed around by ESPN because with my wrestling, I was on a hot streak, man. I was just beating up everybody, getting dubs, performing for my team, rising up through the rankings. And before that, I was a nobody. Nobody knew my name. Nobody knew my name. Nobody knew I was working as hard as I was because I was losing all the time.
Yeah.
And then I just step out the gate at 18, just like, all right, this is my show. I'm running it now. This is what I'm going to do. I'm a captain. I'm a leader of this team. I'm about to show everybody I mean business here. And guess what I did? And then the cameras started just popping up like the news channels, ESPN. It was weird for me because like the way I grew up, I was very soft spoken. I didn't like being around people. I had struggles growing up with just like having friends or a support group. So then boom, suddenly all these cameras in my face made me real nervous. And sometimes I would just shut it down and be like, I can't do this. I got to focus on my wrestling. And my mom would just sit in for me and talk to them for me while I go out and focus on what I had to do.
That's crazy. So when after the whole short film was done, and what was the period before it was presented to Sundance? Like before you actually started hearing some obviously incredible news, was there a period of like, okay, was this all worth time, or was it a waste of time, or was it right off the bat you felt there was something good about it?
Well, I definitely felt good about it, but at the same time, I was still wrestling in college. So like, I had other things I had to focus on, like going to class, going to 5 a.m. workouts and 7 p.m. practices. On top of still racing under Team USA for a few events here and there for track and field.
Were you, and that's another thing too, as I read quickly, were you supposed to be in Tokyo?
I was real close, man. I was just barely under the second for the time I needed to make the team. I ended up finishing 4th in the country at my very first ever trials.
So this is something you're going to pursue for the next ones?
Oh, dude, I'm definitely going to be on the world team next year. I'm not taking no for an answer. I was too close to making the Olympic team this year. Who's to say I can't make it next year? I'm training with the head track coach. I'm training with a lot of different doctors and scientists for like oxygen intake and muscle health. And dude, like I'm doing as much as I can because I'm not taking no for an answer. There's no way. I work too hard. I might not be a veteran like all these other guys. I only have 5 years of experience. These guys have like 20 or more. But here's the thing. I might 20 years, 5 years, you would think there'd be a big gap between like the level of skill. But in all reality, there's really not, because I push myself to the brink of exhaustion every training session, every practice, so I can compete against the best. And so I can be proud right now to say that I'm one of the fastest men in the country, in the United States.
I got a small ear to ear, because that's one thing. And I told you before we went on air about my son is I've spent the last 13 years building this self-belief in him every single day, pushing that, teaching him. Where'd you get that mindset? Like what triggered you? Like I'm listening. I got goosebumps because your way you're talking is so confident, but it's a confidence, but it's just like a swagger, but it's authentic. It's real. You're not trying to be cocky. You're just being you. Where did you get that mindset? When did that trigger? Because it's hard, because I read a little part of your story, right? Obviously, your upbringing through the foster care and stuff. We'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. But what triggered or what switched your mind that gets you to that mindset of you're unstoppable?
It's definitely my mom. Track and field, when I was a senior in high school, when I first started, I only had 2 months to train to even have a chance to get to the state championships. And I tried to quit the second week, and I didn't even tell my mom, honestly. And I'm just at the house, I'm playing my Xbox, and the track coach kind of just showed up at my house and told my mom. And, I was still going through some problems then, because I wasn't used to having a family or a support system. And she told me, she's like, if you're going to live in my house, you can't quit after you started. If you're going to be a Clark, you can't quit after you start. If you're going to be part of my family and be my son, you're not going to give up. And I said, yes, ma'am. So I went back and I worked as hard as I could. And I ended up becoming a 2-time state champion, a 4-time state placer, then a national champion, then a junior national champion, junior national record holder. Just breaking track meet records after track meet records. It was just literally her telling me that I can't stop and I'm not allowed to stop, pushed me to that next level.
When were you, when did you meet your mom? What age were you, and when did she become your mom and all that stuff? Like when did that whole journey start?
So I was a junior in high school. I just got kicked out of my last and final foster home.
Junior, so you're 17, 16?
Yeah, 17.
Yeah.
And the home I was in, it was just a straight war zone day in, day out. Like, man, you don't even know what it's like to come home and have to seriously like fight to keep yourself safe. in the most physical sense, is because the dudes you live with don't like you, you don't like them, and y'all gotta sleep in the same room, y'all gotta sit at the same table, y'all gotta go to school together, we gotta do all this stuff together, and we don't like each other one bit. So like every time I will come home, somebody's getting punched in the face, somebody's getting tackled, somebody's getting attacked, and it was just day in, day out. And then on Thanksgiving, my junior year of high school, the very last fight, holes got put in the wall, people got messed up. It was bad. Like it was just a bad mess, especially for a holiday. And the foster mom was like, you gotta go. And I even tried to state my case, like, these guys, they literally start fights with me all the time. They always start fights with me all the time. Like, I just be minding my own business, they start fights. And then she was like, it don't matter. I need peace in my house and you gotta go. So like, I was at that point, I'm 17, man. I just didn't care. I was like, you gonna kick me out, then do it. You know, like I had a real bad attitude on life, and they was about to ship me to a group home in Cincinnati, Ohio. So where I'm in Ohio, I'm in northeastern Ohio. So like Cleveland, Akron, that area. And I was about to get forced to move away from all my friends that I've known for the last 10 plus years, 4 hours south, and probably would have never saw them again. And my mom stepped in, she showed up to one of my band concerts. I was a trumpet player. I was actually sitting in first chair trumpet at the time. So I was like top dog with my instrument. And so I was showing off because, I got a solo in this song, and my mom just so happened to be in the front row. And according to her, she was like, oh, that's my baby. That's my kid. That's my child right there. Before she even met me, she knew. And then after I finally moved in, months went by, and, at first it was kind of rough because it's another new home. At that point, I've been in over 10 foster homes since birth. And she never, every time I would do something wrong, she would never like scream. And if she did yell, she would yell. Like that's what parents do when kids are in trouble. They'll yell at the kids. But instead of punishing me even further after giving me the business, she would sit me down and speak life and teach me things and give me lessons and what to do, what not to do for next time. I never had that at that point.
How hard was it for you to open up your heart to somebody at that point? You're 17.
It was real hard.
You're scarred at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause like, I'm telling you right now, even after I moved in with my mom, I still had run-ins with the cops. I was still getting arrested. I was still just running around the streets. I was still like doing as many bad things as you could think of, whether it was robbing somebody or just stealing from a store or beating somebody up in the street because they did you wrong or just looked at you funny. Like I was a mess.
Did you, like, let me ask you a quick question. Did you find, because of your situation of obviously your disability, did you find you had you had this anger where you wanted to take on constantly on everybody? You wanted to prove a point to people?
No, it's the thing. Here's the thing about it. I was a very quiet kid for real until I was pushed to that point where like, I'm mad. Now I'm mad. Now I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
Now everything's my fault. Yeah. Like I might have like a bad day at school and I come home to a foster home and it's just because the school called them. Like say I didn't do my homework.
Yeah.
And I missed recess so I could do my homework. They would call my foster mom because the parents asked them to call them. And then I would get the crap beat out of me right afterwards I get home just because the school called them. Like stuff like that. When you go through something like that, man, it's not, you can't just walk into everywhere you go with a big old smile on your face. Like, everything's going and everything's good. No, it don't work like that.
Yeah.
And my thing was, I had a bad attitude and I was still like, all right, I'm literally thinking like, I'm from the streets, man. I'm a hard ass dude, because I ain't scared of nobody.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show that everybody I'm a boss because I'm tired of people picking on me. I'm tired of people bullying me. I'm tired of people just thinking that they can walk all over me. And I was sick of that. So I started getting in trouble. Because guess what? I started getting stronger and I started knowing how to fight. So I started sticking up for myself. And that would get me in trouble all the time, just sticking up for myself. And my mom, she would understand that. Like for for one instance. I got in trouble at school my senior year of high school because this dude spit at me in class. So I jumped up on the desk and I knocked him out. Like, he went straight to sleep. And they called my mom. You know, I got suspended for 5 days. And, you know, I didn't even get in trouble at home because I told my mom exactly what I did. It's not like I wouldn't be the person to go out there and just like say that I just didn't like how you look, man. I wouldn't just go up to you and punch you in your nose. It's like, dude, I don't like your face. I wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Like, something would always have to be done for me to retaliate. And that was one of those moments. And I'm telling you right now, any other family I would have been with, and that would have happened, I would have been in severe punishment. Now, my mom, she was like, you can't leave the house. You can't go hang out with your friends, but you're not going to be in trouble, because if somebody would have spit in my face, I would have done the same thing, just not in school. And, you know, it was a learning lesson for me. Like, I got ahead on my schoolwork. I just sat in the house. I watched TV, just waited to go back to school. And even the principal, he was like, I probably would have done the same thing, but you just can't do that on school property. Because the principal at the time, he was a former fighter. So he understood that feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because that's all I know is fighting, wrestling. That's all I know. And just my mom, she's just so understanding, man. It caught me off guard time and time again. And about 7 months after she got me, you know, I came home from practice and my caseworker is in my house, which I did not like that at all, because every time in my time in the foster care system that there was a caseworker at the house, I was getting removed. So, and that was all it was every time. So I'm thinking like, all right, what did I do? What did I do wrong? Did I mess up somehow? But no, it wasn't that. My mom, she came in and she was like, you know, Zion, I loved you like I birthed you myself. Your sisters have nothing but love for you. Your uncles, your grandparents, your cousins, everybody that you've met, they absolutely love you like you've been here forever. Now, I want to know if you want to be part of our family, because we would love you to be part of our family. And I told her, I said, I don't know. My mom's name is Kimberly. So I said, I don't know, Miss Kim. I said, I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it. So I went to school the next couple of days, kept practicing, kept pondering it, thinking about it, did a little bit of soul searching, because this was going to be my last chance. If this didn't work out, I was going to be on my own in the streets by myself. And I would have been fine with that too. But there was something different about this woman and this family that I never felt before, you know? And in about 4 or 5 days after I got asked that, I came back and I was like, you know what? I want to be your son. I want to be part of this family. I want to be a Clark. And she's like, if you're going to be a Clark, well, you got to call me. And I said, I guess I got to call you mom then. And then ever since then, I've been calling her mom, and she's been my mother. There's nobody else that's more qualified to be my mother than that woman.
Was it? I think we have to give her praise. What's her full name again?
Her name's Kimberly Hawkins. Her name's Kimberly Clark Hawkins. That's why we get the last name Clark.
Let's talk about her. Give me an understanding of what she means to you and what type of person she is.
My mom is the type to let someone.
I got a smile from ear to ear. I'm loving this. Go. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. My mom is the type of person to give her last dollar just to see someone else succeed. Because my mom, she grew up in the streets. She grew up alone at times. She knows what it's like to truly struggle just to survive. And hold up, I'm so sorry.
No worries, buddy. There
My bad.
Go. Start that again. No worries. Start that again, and we'll we'll edit that out.
Yep. Sorry, that was my agent. My bad.
No.
But my mom is the type of person to give you that chance that no one else will give you, because she knows what it's like to struggle. She knows what it's like to be in the street. She knows what it's like to be homeless. She knows what it's like to have absolutely no money and no food. And I know that same feeling, you know, but no one could understand me the way I was acting. And my mom did. And my mom is the type of person, she will go help as much as she can, no matter who it is. And like me, my mom is the type of person that's going to constantly respect you until you give her a reason not to. Because the way our family carries ourselves, we constantly show respect. We keep ourselves to a high standard. We want to show that the Clark family is an esteemed family, you know?
I love that. I remember somebody saying to me when I was younger too, is like, our last name's Lopes, and a name, you got to hold it close to your heart, and you got to be proud of it, and you have to give respect to it. And I love that you keep saying Clark, and I mean, obviously you show a lot of respect towards that. So I love that. Let's talk a little bit about your wrestling.
Yeah.
When's the first time you stepped on the mat? How old are you? And obviously it was a journey to get to where you were championship wise, but what was your first relationship with wrestling, and what pushed you towards that sport?
All right. So when I started wrestling, I was 7 years old.
Well, you started that young, huh?
Yeah, I've been doing it a very long time.
Wow. Okay.
Wrestling, it's crazy. So the high school coach that led me to be the champion I am,
Yeah,
his identical twin brother, like years and years before that, was the one that got me to start wrestling.
what? That's crazy.
Ain't it though? Isn't that a story, man?
Yeah,
like,
that is insane.
But like twin brothers, my high school coach's name is Gil Donahue. His identical twin brother is named Greg Donahue. And they were called the Donahue Wrestling Twins. You know, like they're both were high level wrestlers, both wrestled on the world team, both wrestled in college, both All-Americans. Those guys were the epitome of wrestling.
Yeah.
And the one, he just so happened to be my art teacher and gave me a flyer. I was like, you should try this. I think you could be good at it. Even though for years on years and years on end, I sucked. I loved it. And, you know, I still remember that first practice. I walked in and Coach Donahue's face just lit up because he was so excited that I showed up. I didn't know what that type of wrestling was. I didn't understand it, but I just knew, I had a feeling like, all right, I definitely belong here. This is definitely where I'm supposed to be. This seems like a type of family that I can roll with for a long time. And even now, Coach Donahue, his nephew, my high school coach's son, is my best friend. You know? Yeah, like
they're like a second they're essentially a second family to you.
Yeah, like that whole family, that whole family is the reason that I'm a wrestler. If they never came up to me, I wouldn't be a wrestler. And I really believe that, like 100%.
Give me one wrestling story through high school, and then give me one through college. But one through high school, just when you look back, just puts a smile on your face.
In high school, I was at this tournament called the JC Gorman, and it was a big tournament. Like you had like returning state champs, state placers, all the best guys in the state were at this tournament. And I remember first match I won, second match I lost actually 2-1. And I was kind of hurt by it, but I had lost to a returning state placer. And I was like, whatever. And then, you know, coach gave me a pep talk. And then I go against somebody that was the next match against somebody that was ranked even higher than the dude that I lost to. And ended up beating him in overtime. He tried to jump over me to get the takedown, and I caught his legs by his ankles in midair. Like, it's like some like Matrix type stuff. Like, no one moves in slow motion and you go like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was real like that. Like, I caught his body and he just went down.
Love it. What about college? Give me a good story in college.
College, I was at the regional championships, you know, as a freshman, to make it to the national championships, right? And it was like I had won the first match, won the second, and I'm in the semifinals, right? Man, I wrestled against Toledo College, and this dude was just real good. He was giving me the business for a second, and I got really upset. And I looked at my coach and he just shrugged his shoulders. So I was like, you know what? I was like, you know, I'm about to mess this dude up. I'm sick of people looking at me like that. Coach, don't look at me like that. And I went out there and ended up teching him, which tech in wrestling is you win by 15 points and it's an automatic win. I just decided, like, you know what? If I can't pin this dude, I'm just going to run up the score as much as I can. So I did that. And it was just, I ended up winning, made it into the finals, and secured my spot in the national championships. One of the best moments I think I had.
love it. I love it. With all the fame you got with the Netflix doc, how is it like? Obviously, I'm assuming when you go to places, people recognize you now. People are coming up to you. How has that changed towards you or towards how you act in public, or has it changed you at all?
It has not changed me one bit, man. I'm the same as I was 6 years ago. You
Yeah.
feel me? Like, my look might be different, my body might look different, but my message, my vibe, my motivation, my strength, my just my whole being is still the same. You know, when people come up, you know, it is cool to be famous or whatever, man. Like, don't get me wrong, my name is pretty much known in almost every single country around the world.
Yeah.
But if you meet me, you wouldn't even know, because I don't act like it.
I love it.
You know, like, I just keep it real. I focus on my relationship with my beautiful girlfriend. I focus on my martial arts, because I'm trying to become a world champion in wrestling, fighting, and jiu-jitsu. I'm trying to be a world champion in track. None of that has changed for me ever. And I'm just working as hard as I can. I'm nice to as many people as I can. I still try to inspire. Only thing that's different about me is I wasn't a speaker before. I am now. And I'm more fluent with my words to inspire people to be better.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Let's talk about, you said a few things there. Martial arts, jiu-jitsu. How long have you been training BJJ for?
Like 3 years now.
Oh, you are? What belt ranking are you already?
I'm not even a belt rank. I just been training because I'm trying to fight, not grapple.
So you actually, okay, so you've been grappling. So you want to do MMA?
Yes, sir. I'm actually pretty nice with the gloves. If you follow my Instagram, you're gonna see some of that footage here soon of me in the room getting it in.
Okay, once we're done here, I'm gonna get your address. And you obviously don't know what I do for my main business, but for 15 years, I own a company called Kimura, where we're in Canada. We're the top design manufacturing company for martial art and boxing equipment.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'll send you the site, and I'll send you a care package when we're done. I'll get your information. But I saw your boxing stuff, which I love. So what is your goal with that? Like, when do you actually want to get your first match going in?
Whenever coach thinks I'm ready. You know, I've been working very hard. I don't know if you know who AJ McKee is.
Yeah,
that's my boy. You know, he just won a world title. I'll be working with him, Tyrone Woodley, Rampage Jackson, Anderson Silva. Soon I'm going to be working with Sugar Ray Leonard. These guys are some of the best fighters on the planet, just pound for pound. Yeah. And they all think that I can be the next big thing. They think I can be great in my own right with my martial arts skills, because no one my size just walks into a room and brings Rampage Jackson down on his knees to the ground. You know, that's a hard task to do.
Yeah.
I did it. You know what I mean?
I love it.
So, like, I have the ability to be great. I believe it. I have to believe it if I'm going to be great. And these guys, these men that's already seen the spotlight, that have been top champion of the world, it's past their time, and they're trying to pass on their skills and their knowledge to the next big fighter. So, like, they'll pass it on to AJ, me, my boy Joey, like the guys that are really working hard to become the champions. Because to be the champ, you got to train with the champ and beat the champ.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. I saw some videos of you training. I had no idea that this is something you were pursuing at this level. So I love it. I'm excited to see that.
Oh, dude, I'm at like the highest level you can possibly get to,
training wise,
training wise, and competition. You know, with that level of training, the competition is going to be equally hard.
Which gym are you training at right now?
I train out of Team Body Shop in Long Beach with AJ McKee and all that. And I also train out of Team Arena in San Diego.
Oh, very, very cool.
And then I'll every once in a while I'll train with Spider Kick, Anderson Silva's gym.
Yeah. Good for you, man. Good for you. So there's a lot happening and a lot of goals for 2000 and end of this year in 2022. You got, obviously you want to step into the cage. You're obviously get on to the Olympic team. That's your idea, or you said the world championship for the racing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing everything you're doing. Let's talk a little bit about your book. When did that come out? Give me an understanding of what's the whole idea of the book. When did you take pen to paper to start writing it? Let's talk a little bit about that.
So the book came out on August 3rd, recently.
Oh, it's just recent.
Yeah, just released.
Yeah.
And my idea for the book was to teach kids and a younger audience to be more inclusive in our world, to show that people with disabilities are no different than you. Yeah, there might be physical and biological restrictions holding them back, but at the end of the day, in their mind and their soul, they are still just as perfect as you are. And I need kids to understand that. And I want older people to be motivated by the struggles that I've had to get up and pursue the best version of themselves.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Are you obviously with COVID, the restrictions have changed, but are you doing any type of book tour or anything like that, or just more
I'm going
the
to
virtual?
be soon. We're working on that right now. We're trying to get me out to Canada and the UK.
Good stuff.
And
Good stuff.
multiple parts of the US.
If you come to Toronto, my home is open to you guys. I'd love to take you around and show you around.
I got a couple of business ventures in Toronto that I'm working on right now, actually.
Can you talk about them or no?
I can't.
Interesting. Love it. Love it. Are you going to be down here anytime soon?
Not sure. I have to be in the UK in October. So that'll be like the first stop. And that's not even for the book. It's just for like a gym. Have you heard the company Gymshark?
Yeah.
I'm going to be working with them and just doing a couple cool things out there. I'm actually wearing their gear right now.
Yeah.
They're one of my next big sponsors, and I really enjoy working with them.
Very, 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 very cool. Your girlfriend, how long have you been with your girlfriend for?
8 months.
8 months. So it's pretty fresh.
Pretty fresh. I mean, shit.
What does she mean to you? No pressure. Is she around you?
No, she's in a room, but she means absolutely the world to me, man.
Yeah.
I've had relationships where women don't really support me because they just want the clout, or they want just all of my attention and not want me to do anything else. And that doesn't work for me. With her, she really supports what I do. She's at every track meet. She's at most practices. She's at matches. She's at events that I'm able to get her access into.
Yeah.
Because she really supports what I do. And she's constantly telling me, good job, keep working. You got this, babe. I crashed in Phoenix and at the World Grand Prix and messed up my back. My back completely spazzed out and I bounced my head off the ground twice, going like 20 miles an hour. And, as I lay there on the ground, within 30 seconds, the first person to show up right next to my side was her.
I love it.
Stuff like that, man. She really takes care of me and helps me propel myself to that next level. My mom did that a lot for me, but, I'm older now and I'm moving on in my life. And she's stepping up and being that number one woman in my life.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Where do you see yourself in the next 2-3 years?
2-3 years, I see myself as a champion, a contender, Paralympic champion.
The sky's the limit with you, huh?
Yes, sir.
I love it. I love it. You're so respectful. Even though I love how you say yes, sir. It's just your manner, because it comes so natural. But because I just talked to you, I'm like whatever. We're buddies now. We're just talking. So the way you say it, like, yes, sir, is so respectful.
Dude, I
love it. I love it.
That's my mama coming out in me, man. I promise.
Don't ever change, man. That's special, man. And people recognize that shit, man. People recognize that. Like I every time you say it, I got a little smile on my face. So I love it. Anything else you want to tell our audience? I have one last question at the end, but anything else you want to tell our audience?
Yes, my new merch store. So
100%,
I had dropped the merch store. It's at ZionNoExcuses.com. And it's just a whole bunch of different gear, hats, shirts, crop tops, hoodies, soon sweats, bands, everything. And it's not just workout gear. It's like just everyday gear to inspire you. So there's a shirt that says defy all odds. There's another shirt that says limitless. There's another one that has no excuses. I'm trying to inspire people with my gear, because just like the book gives you motivation. I want you, whenever you work out, you put on my shirt, to be like, okay, I got Big Z on my back today. I'm about to push as hard as I can. And that's what I want from that, man. And with this merch store, I feel like I'm doing that. And, I'm getting a lot of good traction from people. And I think they're loving it. And I'm going to be releasing new products at the end of every month. And yeah, it's going. I'm excited to be doing this.
You have such an incredible story, but I think your authenticity and who you are is going to just like megastar. Like this is just a start for you. Like as I'm talking to you, like I obviously I've seen the documentary now, and then I saw you, I've been following your social media, but actually talking to you and just seeing who you are and where you are and how young you are. I mean, the sky's the limit. And branding and everything is just, you're going to take this to the next level, man. So I'm excited to see what you do, man, because this very, very bright future, man. One question: if something were to happen to you today, in a few words, I know you're young still. I always ask everybody this, but this is the only question I have said in all my interviews. If something were to happen to you today, in a few words, how would you want to be remembered or described by your loved ones?
If I were to disappear today, man, I would want to be remembered as somebody that no matter what I was thrown at me, I would constantly get up. No matter how many times I was beat down, I would constantly get up. I want to be known as a respectful guy. I want to be known as a motivation, man. I want to be known as the guy that helped people change for the better in this world. You know, like how Dr. King did. You know, he got killed for what he believed in.
Have him on my wall here. He's part of my wall. Yeah.
But he got killed for what he believed in. Yeah. If I believe in making change for the foster care system, to get rid of the parents that are abusing the kids and to just make change for the better across this whole country and hopefully the world, because we need to protect these kids and protect their lives and protect them from evil adults. Because the world isn't a great place, man. And when I'm gone, I want people to remember me for doing exactly that.
Yeah. I love it. And it's such a powerful topic that a lot of people are not talking about. You don't hear many people really lobby behind the foster care system and all that stuff like that. Yeah. So I appreciate that you're doing that. And I think the higher you get as an athlete, as an influencer, as a celebrity, your platform will be so strong one day, like The Rock or like other people, that you can make so much change. So you're on the right direction. You're propelling your career in the right direction to make that change possible for so many other children along the way. So I appreciate that, man. Very good for you, man.
Thank you.
This has been awesome, buddy. I'd love to have you back as you keep growing and doing other things. We'll have you on a regular basis, just talking about your new ventures and all that. So I appreciate everything. And thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, no problem. Maybe I can hop on your show for real if I'm ever in Toronto.
100%. That's a wrap for today. I want to thank our guest, Zion Clark, for being such an incredible guest and taking time out of his busy schedule to be a guest on the Jeff Knows Inc. podcast. If you guys enjoy this podcast as much as I have, like all weeks, tell your friends, tell your family, spread the word. We're trying to build something special here. Leave a review. 5 stars will be absolutely amazing. Until next week, guys, keep moving forward.